Hello, guys, and welcome to this data engineering episode on Microsoft Fabric. In this episode, I'm going to show you how you can leverage Microsoft Fabric copy job workloads to integrate data from Snowflake database tables to Fabric Warehouse. So let's get started. If you're new to this channel or you're here to subscribe, please click on the subscribe button and toggle on the bell icon to be informed of new videos. Now, this is my app.power BI. I'm going to quickly swipe to the app.snowflake.com, and then first we're going to create our tables. We're going to insert some record into the table. So by the way, I have already created this fabric underscore database, and of course I've got the schema, which is the fabric underscore sh. Now this database is within the fabric underscore wh warehouse in my Snowflake. So I'm going to use the database. So I'm going to say use database, and the database name is fabric underscore db, put in a semicolon, and I want to use the schema that is within that fabric underscore db. So it's going to be fabric underscore sh, and put in a semicolon, select the two codes and press Ctrl Enter, and there we go. Statement executed successfully, and I'm going to get rid of these. So I'm going to proceed to paste my create table statement and insert some record. So basically, we want to create two tables. The first is the customers, and the second is going to be orders. Now, for the customers table, we're going to have 4 columns, which consist of the customer ID, customer name, email, and country. And this is int, varchar, and of course, it's going to be a primary key. And then for the orders table, we're going to have the order ID, customer ID, order date, product quantity, and then we have the price. And then we're going to perform a calculated column to multiply the quantity by price, and it's going to give us the total amount. So I'm going to select these two tables and press Ctrl Enter, and it's going to start executing from the first table, the customers, and then it's going to create the second table, the orders, and then we can see status as table orders successfully created. Now this simply means that the customer table, which is at the top, has been created first, then move to the orders. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click on this refresh, and I'm going to expand the fabric underscore sh, and you can see the two tables. I'm going to refresh again. We have the tables, and there we go, orders and customers. Excellent. And I'm going to move that a little bit. Now we want to go ahead and insert some records into the customers table. So basically we want to insert 4 records. So we have the enumeration of the column names, the customer ID, customer name, email, and country, and I'm inserting value using the insert into statement. And this is going to be the row number 1, Alice Johnson, and the email address is this. And then this person is based in the United States, and then we have the Bob Smith, Carlos Martinez, and Diana Lee. So I'm going to select this code, or I can even just click inside it and press Ctrl Enter, because this is Snowflake anyway. And in a matter of seconds, we have the 4 rows inserted into the customers table. Excellent. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the orders. Again, we have the list of the column names, and then we're using the insert into orders table, and then we're inserting values, and it's going to be each of the orders placed by our customers. So we have this order placed on the 15th of January 2022, and we have laptop. We have the 22nd of March 2022, smartphone, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to press Ctrl Enter to run. And again, this insert 6 records into the orders table, and you can see the order ID 101, 102 to 106. Excellent. Now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom a little bit, and then we can just query the 2 tables. So let's select star from, let's start with the customers table, put in a semicolon, Control Enter, and there we go. We have the 4 customers. Excellent. And then we want to move that a little bit, and then we can just query the orders to see all the 6 transactions. So I'm going to type in the orders and press Ctrl Enter, and there we go. We have all the records. So we've actually done with the Snowflake side for now, because we're going to be coming back later on to insert more records after we perform the incremental copy in Microsoft Fabric using the copy job workload. So I'm going to come to the app.power BI. Now the goal is to land this data into the Fabric warehouse. So I'm going to create a folder because I love to organize things, and I'm going to call this one warehouse, and I'm going to click on create. So this is now created, and I'm going to give this a click, And then I'm going to create the warehouse inside that newly created folder. So you can see the warehouse. And I'm going to call this one sales underscore LH or let me WH and then click on create. And in a matter of seconds, this is going to be provisioned. And while that's going on, I'm going to come back to the workspace dev underscore WKS. And I'm going to go back. Now, we want to use the amazing copy job activity, which is actually simplify data integration without having to do a lot of complex setup. I love this so much. So for that, I'm going to create a folder to house that. I'm going to call that copy job, and I'm going to click on create new folder. So this is now created. Give this a click, go to the new item, and then I want to search for the copy job, and I'm going to call this on Snowflake, so Fabric Warehouse copy job CJ, and let me just call it the spelling, and oops, warehouse. Let me get rid of this W and click on the create. So this is going to be provisioned, and then we can go on and select our data source. We have a bunch of data sources that we can pick from databases, even to SharePoint, and even to the open database connectivity, and so on. So for this demonstration, we're going to be focusing on Snowflake computing. But for now, I'm going to click on this view more, and then we have a bunch of data sources we can pick from. So I can see the Snowflake from here, and I'm just going to give this a click, and then this opens the connect to data source, that is Snowflake database. So we just need some information like the server name, warehouse that I want to connect to, and I'm going to choose the default Snowflake authentication kind, and I'm going to provide our username and the password. Now let's start with the server name, which are very important. So to get this, I'm going to swipe to the app.snowflake, and at the bottom, I'm going to click on my initial, and then I can see the account that I'm currently using. So I've done so many accounts before, but I just want to use this EN70668, and I can see this option to view account details. So click on this, and this is going to open up the account tab details for you, which contains all the information you probably need. So I want to just copy this account server URL. So what is this? Now what I found out is that when I use this in all caps, this is not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy the same thing here, which I can see from the side, Control C, and I'm going to come back here and I'm going to paste in here, Control V. So I'm going to replace this / with dash, and this must end with .snowflakecomputing.com. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to just paste in it. All right, this is what's going to work. Okay, and then let me just go to create a connection. So I'm going to provide the name of my warehouse. So as I mentioned, this is going to be fabric underscore WH. Now, this is the warehouse name, not the name of the database. Okay, you have to provide the warehouse name. So I'm going to come back here and then create a new connection. I can give this a nice name. Let me just call this on Snowflake. And for the data gateway, this is not applicable because this is only used for on-premise, like in SQL Server. So this is not applicable. And then we're going to, of course, stick with the default Snowflake authentication kind. When you click on that, you can see Microsoft. This is not going to work, but just click on the Snowflake. And then to get your username, if you can't remember, just come here and you can see your username. Just copy this to the clipboard. And then I'm going to paste, and certainly you want to remember your password. So I'm going to type in my password, and I'm going to be dealing with this amazing use Azure keywords in future video. This is a new functionality in Microsoft Fabric for data protection. So for now, I'm going to skip this. So I'm going to come to the privacy level, and I want to choose private, and then I'm going to click on next. Now, as soon as I click on next, as soon as you see this, rolling, this tells you automatically that you are fully authenticated to your Snowflake database, and you can see the option to choose the specific database you intend to work with. For me, I'm going to click on this drop down, and if you couldn't see, just wait for some couple of seconds and everything deploys. Alternatively, just click on this refresh and everything deploys. So I'm going to click on the fabric underscore DB database. Now we have the default Snowflake Learning DB, Snowflake sample data, but we want to focus on the DB I created. So click on that and give this a next at the bottom right hand corner. And then just wait for some couple of seconds, and I'm going to see all the tables within that fabric underscore DB database. So there we go. So we can see the name of the schema and the name of the tables, customers and orders. So I'm going to click on this and then click on this. And I'm going to wait for some couple of seconds and then we should be able to see the preview of the data with the appropriate data types. Excellent. And I'm going to give this a next and we can choose the destination. Now, because we've already created our warehouse, so I don't need to create a new fabric item. But in the case, if you don't have your warehouse created, or maybe your SQL database as your destination or your lakehouse, then you can choose anyone you like based on your need. But for me, I'm going to just focus on the sales underscore WH warehouse, which has been created. Just give this a click in the one lake catalog, and then we have the map to destination. We have the table mapping, we have the source, we can see the name of the schemas and the name of the tables. And then for the destination, you can actually change this. I'm going to call this one DBO as the name of the schema, and I'm going to use the DBO as the name of the schema. And then I'm going to maintain this name of the tables, orders, and customers. Now, if there's a need to edit color mapping, you can click on this edit color mapping, and then you can see the color mapping. But this is already done for me, so I don't need to worry about that in this case. So I'm going to just click on next. And now we come to the settings. We have these two options. We can perform a full copy, that is to perform a batch data integration, but I'm going to elect to use the incremental copy, whereby the initial copy is loaded first and then subsequent runs will copy only new changes or newly inserted record from the source. So I'm going to choose the incremental copy, and as soon as I click on that, I can see the option to control how I want to perform the implementation. So basically, you can see the source, which is fine. I can click on this to even preview again if I want to see the data. Excellent. Once you're done, click on this to close. You can just click on this orders and then preview the data. So these are some extra functionality that guides you on which of the columns you want to use as your incremental column. So for me, I'm going to assume that it's not going to change the customers, and then I'm going to come to the orders, the big one. Now, I want to use the order date as my incremental column. So this simply means this is going to perform all the full integration or ingestion to load all the records for the 2022, and then for the 2023, this is going to be the incremental records. So I'm going to come back here, and then we have this order date as the incremental column for the orders table. And once I'm fine, I'm going to click on next. And then we can see the summary. So basically we have the source on the left hand side and then the destination on the right hand side, and then we have the incremental copy type, and then we can see the name of the connection, and then we have the connection for the destination, and then we have the two provisioned tables to be copied from the source into the destination, and then we can elect to start this automatically, but I can click on this not to start automatically, but in this case I'm going to start automatically. So this also gave me some option to either run this once or run it on a schedule. So I'm going to schedule this either by minute or by hourly, but let's do by minute, and approximately every 3 minutes. And I'm going to maintain the start date, time, end date, and the time zone, and I'm going to click on save plus run. And when I click on that, this is going to be provisioned for running, so we can see gathering changes, and then we have the successfully running Snowflake to Fabric workspace or warehouse CJ. And at the bottom under the result, we can see the source, the destination, and the status is in progress. So I'm going to wait for us to execute. Now, whilst that's going on, at the top right hand corner, you can see the copy every 3 minutes schedule that we specified. So this is actually a very good one. It allows you to know what's going on or how many minutes this has been scheduled to run. And then coming to the home tab, we have the settings, which allows you to change the name of this copy job. You can also apply the sensitivity level, like maybe this is confidential, personal, and so on and so forth. And they can also endorse this either to be promoted or to be certified, so that people in your organization can be able to trust the integrity of this copy job. And then you can also see the option to schedule this again. So these are some of the options you can see, and there we go. This executed in a matter of 43 seconds and 42 seconds respectively. Excellent. Now, of course, you can click on this to run again, and then you can come to the view to view the JSON code. So this is going to give you the name of the copy job, and then we have the object ID, and then we have the job mode as change data capture, and then we have this type of Snowflake table, and so on and so forth. So you can go through all of these if you have the time. And I'm going to close this for now. And when I come back to the Home tab again, you can schedule from here. You can also choose a different data source. You can edit your mapping. You can also click on advanced settings to change the incremental column if there's a need to change it in the future. But for now, this is not needed for me. I'm going to cancel, and you can view the run history. So you can say this succeeded, and then this is going to okay, there's going to be the next one that's going to run in a matter of seconds. Now we have succeeded 4 rows read from the customers table, and 4 is written to the destination, and then 6 row is read from the orders and to the destination. We have 6. Excellent. Now we can come back here to the warehouse, and it's a good practice to give this a refresh in order for the table to sync if they have not been synced. So click on this to expand the schemas, and then we have this DBO, and then expand the tables, and then we have the 2 tables. Again, if you cannot find your tables, just give this another click and then wait. So in my case, I can see the customers and then the orders. So click on each of them to preview the content, and there we go. Absolutely cool. So we have the copy job working as expected. Now I'm going to come here and I'm going to insert more records. So I'm going to scroll up a little bit and go to the bottom. So I want to insert this 2023 sales or orders records, and this is about maybe 8 rows. So I'm going to select this one. Let me just press Ctrl Enter to run it, and there we go. We have 8 number of rows inserted, and I can just give this a quick query to see, and you can see this has grown to include the 2023. So I'm going to come to my fabric, and I'm going to come here to the copy job. Now of course I don't need to do anything because this has been scheduled, so I'm going to just wait, and let's see whether this is going to capture the table we insert. There we go. So 1 failed and 1 succeeded. Now the reason why this failed is because this data has not changed, so it remains the same. So you can say when I insert the record into this Snowflake, I only insert the record for the orders table, not the customers table, and that's why this failed. But this succeeded, and we can see the number of rows written, which is 8. I'm going to come to my warehouse, and I'm going to give this another refresh, and I'm going to close these orders, and I'm going to click on the orders again, and this should include the 2023 transaction. Excellent. So this is how we can use the amazing Microsoft Fabric copy job workload to integrate data from Snowflake into Microsoft Fabric Warehouse. I trust you enjoyed this video. If you do, like, comment, share, and follow me for more videos. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.